Alright, so I'll just read this. It says company getting ready to start operations here. Electric current for operations of new Garrett car shops at Baltimore and Ohio was turned on at 7 o'clock this morning. And this was after the main shops closed, so I don't know when they reopened the car shops, which of course were where the RIP track sits today. But anyways, I'm reading. With the arrival of their machinery and equipment, Garrett has the work of perfecting its facilities and organizing underway. The connection between the city and the railroad's electric lines was made at the substation at Peters and Quincy Street. The company reconstructed the lines in the car shops last week. City current will be used to operate the air compressors, battery chargers, mill room motors, blacksmith shop motors, wheel lathe, and other equipment. The electrical work was in charge of E.J. Wright of Baltimore. The company has for the last several months been using city current to operate the coal handling equipment, turntables, and water treating plant, and for illumination. With the car shops added, the city plan is taking on an additional load of 127 horsepower, making the total demand from the railroad 250 horsepower. This will be more than a fourth of the total production of the city plant. Consumption for all the purposes is about 700 horsepower. Originally, though, the shops had their own generating plant, and this one's in reference to when they made improvements to the roundhouse, September 12, 1918. I don't know if you can kind of read it. Let's see, within 2 weeks, new addition of 12 stalls to the Garrett Roundhouse of Baltimore and Ohio will be turned over to the railroad company by the contracting firm Franny Brothers and Hagley through the superintendent George J. Pfaff. The work's been underway for 3 months and rapid progress has been made. Mr. Pfaff has now 30 men busy putting the finishing touches. The electrical hoist will soon be installed, which referred to a 200-ton Whitting Corporation locomotive lift. Excuse me. It took 4 50-ton lifts, and it had a bar across it, or bars across it. The theory was you could pick the locomotive up and change the wheels out faster than using a drop table. And then here's a reference to work starts on the new stalls. This is kind of small, but I'll go ahead and read it for you. And this was in 1918, May 16, 1918. It says work starts to add new stalls to roundhouse. Railroads begin improvements here that will cost about $200,000. Put in great engine hoist, heating systems for roundhouse, machine shops, other work to be done. New construction and improvements will cost perhaps $200,000. Were started at the Garrett shops, the Baltimore and Ohio Monday. They include 11 or 12 new stalls for the roundhouse, electric engine hoist in the roundhouse, new hot water washout extension for washing engines, new power press, new hot air heating for the roundhouse handling, heating of machine shop with exhaust steam from the power plant, as I had mentioned, that the B&O had originally next to the shops. You can see in my other documentary of that where the stack would have stood behind the new fire station in the modern day and age where the roundhouse used to sit. Let's see, heating. Okay, with 25 carpenters and laborers on the job, the contracting firm of Franny Brothers and Hagley of Baltimore commenced excavation. Other work for the roundhouse Monday morning. George Pfaff, who was in charge of the construction of new powerhouse last year, which I had just previously mentioned, has returned to be superintendent of the roundhouse construction. The work estimated to require 4 months. New stalls were added 16 on the west side of the present 16. Hang on, let me grab a magnifying glass here. can't seem to get this to focus. Let's see, new stalls added, 10 on the west side, present 18 stalls, which were built in 1912. That was a big year. They expanded the shops. Actually, Garrett at one point was the division point of the B&O for the Chicago division before it was in Chicago, or today Willard, as a major terminal, which after they closed the shops, they moved all the back shop equipment like the lathes and basically the heavy rebuild stuff to those two places, which I'll get into later. Stang thing. Okay. Sorry, 12 stalls. It will be necessary in. Sorry. Let me grab a magnifying glass. Here we go. Sorry. Sorry, it's kind of dark in here. Okay, let's see. 11 stalls will require 275 feet. It's probable that 12 stalls will be built. It will be necessary to tear away the tin shop on the east end of the machine shop to make room for the new roundhouse. To furnish greater recommendation for the big engines, it is probably that the stalls will be inside accommodated for big engines. It is probably that the stalls will be made 10 feet longer than the present stalls. When finished, their roundhouse construction in Garrett will be completed for many years to come. The accommodation will not only fill the demand, but there will be no room north to complete the circle without moving the tracks. Material on the new stalls will practically be the same as the present ones, with the exception that the sash used instead of or a metal sash will be used instead of wood. Along with the construction of new stalls, the okay just talks about they put in an engine hoist, 200 tons, so they can basically change the wheels quicker instead of using a drop table. Bricklayers will be added to Mr. Pfaff's force as soon as work reaches the point where it can be employed, and work will push as rapidly as possible. New boilers for the powerhouse were placed in operation Monday for the first time, and on Tuesday overhauling its two boilers in the old powerhouse and their removal to the new one had begun. The new powerhouse and its equipment will be completed September 1st. Then says 3 new lathes for $19,000 that recently were installed in the machine shop, and a new power press will shortly be put in. New woodworking equipment is also installed in the saw shop, and electric motors being installed in the drive mill shafting, doing away with the steam engine. It is not believed any new buildings will be put up this year besides the roundhouse, but necessary repairs will be made to the old buildings. When the roundhouse is completed, a larger force of machines will be required, or mechanics, will be required, and the new machinery will be installed. The improvement project has the approval of the Government Railway Administration. The purpose is to enter the facility sufficiently to expedite the movement of heavy war traffic next winter, which refers to World War I. Let's see, should I go through those two? Yeah, okay. And then this one's from 1912 when they expanded the shops. This is kind of small. Dang it. There's the cat. Let's see. Within the next 6 months, B&O will build and guard the largest roundhouse in the system and make improvements and extensions to the shops.